I'm Jaime Horn, and I'm originally from Austin, Texas. I met Andi in 2003, and we both worked at Merrimack. We quickly became two best friends instead of coworkers. We felt like we were brought together to sort of find our purpose. We had this understanding of each other that was very intuitive. We could sense if something was wrong without talking to one another. She gave me the movie Practical Magic before she left for Baghdad, and she made me watch it. She said that we were like the magical sisters in the movie. Andi wanted to go to Iraq and do the democracy building job because she really felt a responsibility to give back and contribute and try to create some sort of positive social change in a peaceful way. I had this naive thought that because Andi was being true to herself and trying to find her purpose and mission, that maybe she'd be protected by some sort of divine light. So that's why when I received the call that she had been killed, I was completely shocked. I still remember he said, "Jaime, we have terrible news." She was in her convoy and she had been attacked. It sounded like a car bomb. Her attacker saw her. She had been sought out. Attempted kidnapping. The headquarters. You know, she was a target. They killed Andi. I lost her.
Andi Paramovich was 28 years old when she was killed in Baghdad, her convoy caught in an ambush.
My biggest test of faith is, why would God bring this incredibly special person into my life who was a teacher and then take her away? It's such a void in my heart that I know it won't ever be filled.
After Andi's death, I was certainly worried for Jaime.
I wondered if she would just crumple and lose a sense of hope, because they were like sisters.
I think it brought to surface many of Jaime's need to embrace meaning in her life.
And she decided to go full speed into philanthropy and volunteering.
I am so appreciative of everybody that came out tonight, because we are a new organization to go out there and spread Andi's story.
Here she was, the vice president, head of publicity from one of the major radio stations in the world, and then decided just to kind of leave all of that behind and go and volunteer to help people in Ghana.
I think that speaks to who she was originally and who she's always been, and also just to courage, just to deciding to be brave.
I went to Africa with the organization Women in Progress. The organization aims to make Ghanaian women economically sustainable through small-owned businesses. The Ghanaians are very friendly, loving people, and being in their presence, it was such an appreciation of life. I definitely needed the African experience in women more than they maybe needed me. I think Andi and I are always going to be connected forever, no matter what. She's going to continue to inspire me in the work that I'm going to be doing, and I know that I want to be doing humanitarian efforts from here on out, partly for Andi, partly for myself, and partly for the world, because I know that she's guiding me on the other side. Brave started when my best friend Andi moved to Baghdad to help promote democracy. Brave started when I changed career paths after she was killed by terrorists. Brave started last year when I co-launched a Women's Leadership Institute with my friend Kim Massey to help train young women peace builders. Brave starts now, as I'm about to introduce you to two young women who helped bring that vision to life and who are carrying on Andi's legacy of wanting to create positive social change. It's my great honor to introduce you to Becca Weinstein from Washington, D.C., and Afnan Bahloul from Damascus, Syria. Welcome to Texas, guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, what's up with the weather?
Yeah, what is up with the weather? I don't know. They could tell you. I thought we could start out a little bit telling the audience about why you were all motivated to apply to a program with 7 other women from around the world to learn about peace building, leadership skills, and what brought you together.
Sure. So I graduated from Georgetown University in 2012 with a degree in anthropology and a minor in Arabic. And afterwards sort of realized that a lot of what conflict is in the world is people not seeing the other person's culture and the inherent, what's special about it, I guess you could say. I studied abroad in Jordan, and I really grew to love the Middle East. And I was working for a peace building organization back in Washington, D.C., the Alliance for Peace Building. And the Andi Leadership Institute became a member of this membership-based organization, and I got the email that you guys were looking for applicants, and it pretty much combined everything that I'm into. I knew there'd be women from the Middle East there that I'd get to hang out with. I'd get to learn more about peace building. And I'd get to just kind of meet some cool people. So it really was everything I was looking for in a program. What about you?
I think I have to tell you the story from the start. I'm from Syria, and the revolution there very affected me. Before the revolution started, before the revolution started, I was like a very normal architecture student. My biggest worry was how to finish my project before the deadlines, which I hardly did. But after the revolution started, everything changed. People changed. I changed. My friends changed. We felt, I mean by we, the youth, felt that you have a responsibility for our country. Our country that the generation before us gave it to the wrong hands, dictator hands. So a large group of youth start to create projects like peaceful movement projects and humanitarian works projects. Yeah. So, but unfortunately, lots of these projects didn't work. Not because we did not have the will, we have them, but not because we don't have ideas. Because I'm telling you, Syrian people are very, very intelligent. But what we didn't have is experiences of leadership and business. So, right. I think it's very normal that we didn't have these experiences there when the government execute and kill people just to think that we can have another leader that from out Al-Assad family. So right there I start to think more. I have more interesting about leadership. I started to read online, take some courses, and finally I found online Ali pilot program for leadership. So I applied for it, and 3 months later, I'm here.
All right. So you found yourselves meeting for the first time in Washington, D.C. in August 2013. We all have fears about meeting somebody for the first time. What fears did you all have about the other before and then actually upon meeting each other?
Well, I guess I'm gay and I'm Jewish And I'm just gonna put it all out there. And I knew going in that I was gonna be living with a group of girls, majority of whom were gonna be Muslim and from Afghanistan or the Middle East. And you know, I was kind of raised thinking, well, you know, if they're not going to want to toss you into the sea because you're Jewish, they're going to want to stone you to death because you're gay. And so, you know, going into it, I was kind of like, well, it's a peace building program, so maybe they'll like me. But mostly I was terrified of just getting ostracized and like not having any friends. Like everybody is afraid they're not going to have any friends. It was similar, right?
Yeah, I can add that. I don't know, traveling to a very far country, it's a scary idea itself, but it gets worse when you're a very shy person, as I am, and it's that country have different spoken language, so all of these was, but yeah, it wasn't really the fear I had. Maybe it's more about how the relationship will be between the girls there, especially Becca. When I read her bio, she's like American and Jewish, so I was wondering, what's an American Jewish girl have ideas about Muslim and Islam? So especially, I don't know, is she opinionated maybe about us, especially after 9/11, which unfortunately get a very wrong idea about Islam here in America. So yeah, so it wasn't really, it's like thoughts give me some fears, yes.
I was the first Jewish girl you'd ever met, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Had a
quite
lot
one
going
at that. So you had these fears and you had these thoughts, and when you met, did you have questions that you wanted to ask each other?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think when you told us that you're gay, I was wondering, is it okay in Judaism to be gay?
It's a solid question. To be honest, I don't know the answer. I have no idea. You know, like a lot of religions, people who are Jewish kind of operate on a spectrum, and I love being Jewish culturally and traditionally. You know, we got a lot of good holidays and, you know, a lot of good foods. But religiously, you know, I don't look to Judaism for guidance exactly, and I don't think that religion should have any bearing on who I choose to love. And so it's two parts of myself that I have, but that they just don't, it's not so important to me what Judaism has to say about who I love. But
do you have any questions?
Yeah, got a lot of questions. You know, it's sort of, you know, my personal choice to not let my, you know, religion shape some of my personal life. And so I kind of had the reverse question for you about, you know, especially something like as visible as your headscarf, the hijab in Arabic. Do you want to wear it? Is it your personal choice? Did your dad make you do it? You know, do you ever want to like take it off and let your hair flow in the breeze? Like,
actually, it's a religion thing, wearing hijab in Islam, and I love my religion, so it wasn't. No one forced me. I really wanted to do that. It's, you know, it's like in Christianity when nuns they cover their heads and body. It's something I feel comfortable with. I don't really like to men look at me like a body, or I just hope to see me as a soul and mind more. So it's very much my personal choice.
That's nice.
So with these differences that you came to know about each other, were there challenges in the beginning of forming your friendship?
Yeah, there were some challenges. Yeah, I mean, but there are challenges when you're getting to know anybody for the first time. You know, it's, you know, yeah, there were these huge things about, you know, she's Muslim and I'm Jewish and she's Syrian and I'm American, but like at the end of the day, it's like I'm pretty outgoing and she's kind of shy, and sometimes for dinner, you know, she wanted a hamburger and I wanted a slice of pizza. Like it wasn't about those big things. It was about the little things that, you know, were the challenges, and that kind of working little by little was what sort of strengthened our friendship. Would you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's more about how our personality get along together and how to understand her reactions that sometimes feel I don't really understand, but after we get
so
along,
confusing.
it's much easier. Yeah.
So in the course of the friendship as it moved forward, was there a defining moment or a particular moment where you started looking at the other differently, or that you could actually step into each other's shoes and look at life through Becca's eyes, and Becca, could you see life through Afnan's eyes and understand each other's fears?
Yeah, for me, there was a real defining moment. Within the first, I think, day or two of the program, we were doing a leadership team building activity, kind of a, I don't know, get to know you leadership type thing, if you will. And Afnan wound up saying to me, well, I want to know more about being Jewish. I want to know more about Judaism. Like, come talk to me so I can ask you some questions. And I took this like huge exhale, like, oh my God, she's not gonna go, like she's not gonna wanna get to know me based on what she thought she knew. She was gonna wanna get to know me for me and what I thought. And that was the game changer. From then on, I felt comfortable, and it was just, you know, it was a real, it was a real defining moment for me, I think. But was there a moment for you, or?
You have amazing personality. Of course, I learned a lot. Yeah, but I don't think there was like very special or moment. Specific moment. Yes, sorry. It was, I think, more about when I just stopped think about you as maybe a stereotype, and it's more when I started to think you as a person, to see your good and bad, and just forget everything I had in mind before.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's funny because like I didn't, you know, I had sort of this defining moment, and for her it sort of, you know, took, we got to know each other, and but you know, in getting to know each other and seeing each other's fears, you know, we spoke a little bit about what we were afraid of going into it. If you notice, you know, I never said, well, I was raised to think that Syrians are dumb, Syrians are angry, Syrians are mean. It was, Syrians don't like you. Syrians aren't gonna like you. And, you know, for her, it wasn't Jewish people are ugly, Jewish people are mean. It was, well, Jews don't like you either. And when we sort of realized that we had these similar fears, you know, it wasn't walking a mile in each other's shoes. We were wearing the same shoes.
Right.
So it made that part a lot easier.
But your differences actually seemed like similarities.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we're sort of touching upon this right now, but what have you learned from each other from the course of your friendship?
I think sometimes it's not, you know, I learned a lot of Becca because she's very different, so it's every day there's something new to learn. Yeah, but I think it's sometimes not just about learning, it's what you've learned gave you, what's the value you have from the learning you've got. And my relationship with Becca gave me hope when I realized that very, very different girl from very different worlds and different religion, different language can get along together and be friends. That should be more easier for Syrian people after the conflict ends. And we should, if we understand how to forget and forgive, we should, I hope, get along together again.
I love that.
Thank you.
I mean, hearing Afnan talk about her passion for Syria and for, you know, helping resolve this really intractable conflict is, I think, like such a gift for me to have learned from her, that she's being very humble and very modest right now about her passion and her commitment, especially at the beginning of the Syrian revolution, committing to real non-violent peace movements to really keep the violence at bay. And, you know, as she said, just a lack of experience was what, you know, kind of didn't help them out. And hearing her, you know, has really made me question, what would I risk my life for? I mean, you know, hashtag brave starts here. What would I be brave for? And it's really helped, you know, she has really helped me want to understand what I would risk my life for, what would I be brave for.
So this might be a little bit more of a difficult question. What have you learned about yourself through this friendship?
Well, for me, this was, you know, it was kind of hard. I really learned that there are parts of myself that I didn't know existed, and that there are parts that I actually don't really like about myself. You know, I like to think that I'm thoughtful, I'm caring, I'm understanding. You know, and throughout my life, I've experienced, you know, sadness, pain, in the same way that everybody experiences sadness and pain. And coming to this program and hearing Afnan tell her stories, listening to the other women that we were with tell their stories, you know, I heard their sadness and their pain. And instead of feeling that thought, that care, that sense of understanding, I was coming up against these walls within myself that I didn't know I had, and I was angry that they were telling me these stories, and it felt sort of like, oh God, my, you know, American privilege is showing. Like, I had some sadness, I had some pain, but this can't compare to anything that these women have been in, and that made me angry. And the fact that I was feeling angry made me feel really guilty, like even more guilty than like my white guilt made me feel. And it took a lot for me to sort of break down that wall within myself and to say, you know what, it's okay. I am who I am, I've had what I've had, and in order to really strengthen these friendships, I'm gonna have to accept that I've had what I've had and they've had what they've had. And it's not about more, it's about different, and that's okay.
Right. How about you?
I think I learned many things about myself, but the most important thing was that when people sometimes misunderstand me, it's more because of me. I'm not very expressive person, so
Expressive,
yes,
yeah, you're good.
Good. I'm an expressive person, so I have difficulty with talking about my feelings. So I learned that I should talk more with the people I love so they can understand me. And it's, yeah.
It's a good lesson. So how has your friendship changed how you meet new people or you interact with someone that is different, and the knowledge that you've learned from each other through this friendship? Has that affected?
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's let me see people and world from different angle. So I'm here, for example, now I'm meeting new friends, new people. I've never thought I could maybe talk with them before. It's, yeah, very affect me and change me.
Yeah, definitely. I think I sort of am a little bit calmer about meeting new people now that, you know, if I can be your friend, I can be anybody's friend. You know, when you ask the question, it brings to mind this quote that I keep seeing going around the internet. I'm sorry, I don't know who I can attribute it to, but it's something like, everybody that you meet is fighting their own battle that day that you don't know about. So be kind. That you don't, you know, she looks one way, I look a different way, and yet we've been able to find similarities. And so in that way, when you meet somebody, just be kind. Know that that those similarities and those differences are there. And like I said earlier, there are the big challenges, but get into the little challenges, and you'll get to know somebody in a much deeper way. What do you think? Yeah?
So this is a big day, a bit for you two and your friendship, the narrative, as you stand on the stage, because Saturday, Afnan flies back with her sister Bayan to Saudi Arabia, and they've been in DC since the program. So there's a time that Becca and Afnan will be together for a while. So you have this audience here, this classroom, and listening to your story. Are there any final messages that you would like to share with them about taking the risk of meeting somebody new and putting yourself out there and embracing what you don't know?
Yeah. I guess my piece of advice would be, find the walls, dig deep and find the walls, and then, take a sledgehammer to them. Just, knock them down. What about you?
Especially for the little girls with you, don't be afraid to have dreams. Let it be big dreams, and not just about you. Let it be about the world. Talk more and ask questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.